You're listening to Cattywampus.
Welcome to a sub-series of our Dragon Ball recap, where we recap a shockingly new thing, which is Dragon Ball Daima. Also, is it Daima? Am I pronouncing that right?
No, it's Daima.
Great. So this is a side quest, new adventure, that really just seems like a grab at nostalgia of going, Dragon Ball has an anniversary. Let's do something that reminds you of old school Dragon Ball, where Goku is like a little kid and does adventures. Which, to be fair, is where we're at. And I'm kind of like, oh, I recognize these things.
Yeah, this should feel real familiar to you and real disappointing to Brian.
After 2 episodes, it did start to feel familiar, but for 2 episodes, I was like, what is happening? I don't know.
The first episode specifically, I'm sure you were a little lost, but...
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the second one has a lot of characters, too.
I would equate it to, remember in the first season of Loki, when Owen Wilson sat down with Loki and was like, do you remember all the stuff that happened? And there was like this 2-minute scene where he just showed clips of the Avengers movies and the Thor movies, and Loki went, yeah, I could go a different way. Yeah, that was like half of this episode. Where I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I was watching through that first episode going, well, this should be fun for David.
I have notes. And most of my notes are legit questions. So, I'm just going to take it straight from the Wikipedia.
After the death of Deborah, Goma becomes the new Supreme King of Demon Realm. He and Dagetsu, Shin's younger brother, watch what transpired against Majin Buu. Dr. Aransu joins them to ask Goma if he will give her supplies for research, just like Deborah did, and gives them an idea to use the Dragon Balls to make the warriors to fought against Majin Buu young in order for them to not pose any threat to the Demon Realm. Due to the Demon Realm's Dragon Balls being protected by robot creatures Tamagami, Goma, Dagetsu, and Neva, creator of the Demon Realm's Dragon Balls, go to Kami's lookout. When they leave the Demon Realm, they learn that Dr. Aransu visited Earth at some point. On Kami's lookout, Neva uses his power to collect all the Earth's Dragon Balls. Dende tries to stop him but is knocked unconscious by Dagetsu. Meanwhile, the Z Warriors and their allies are celebrating Trunks' birthday at Capsule Corp. Dagetsu summons Shenron, and Goma wishes for the warriors who fought Majin Buu to be turned into children. Yeah, that's a synopsis, but I don't feel like it's that clear.
Yeah, so, what's a demon realm? Question 1. So there's 3 demon worlds, which are like 3 entrances to 3 different worlds that are its own
That's
universe.
all new. That's
so that's not
new.
something you guys know about.
No, the Demon Realm...
Really?
Yes, that was something... Yeah, the Demon Realm was something we knew about, because as this episode does, for the first half, it's all recap.
Okay.
The entire first half of this episode is literally just going, hey, you remember the Buu saga? Well, if you don't, we're going to tell you what happens in it from beginning to end. So the Demon Realm is where the main antagonists from the Buu saga that came to summon Buu came from.
Okay, so Buu is not from the demon realm, but he's like...
The person who summoned him is...
But he's like this extra-dimensional force that's really powerful, and
right.
The demon world is like, oh yeah, that's our guy.
Well, So, Babidi, the antagonist that summons Buu. His name is Babidi.
Who's a what?
He was the...
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo.
Yep.
Okay. But so I kind of understand. Majin Buu's like big evil Kirby, right?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah. Bad guy uses magic to brainwash a bunch of people, including the king of the demon realm, to come to this realm in order to summon Buu.
Okay.
That's basically all you really... That's basically all we knew about the demon realm going into Daima.
So is that why
he's
got like 3 demon world friends? So like the Z Warriors, there's like two demon guys, one older, one younger, who seem to want to be merging or don't want to merge, and there's like a demon girl.
No, those are. Oh man, this is gonna be
Well,
hard
well,
to
she's
explain.
from the demon because so spoilers for later. One of these is gonna well, they're all gonna get turned into kids, but spoilers. But like they're all gonna get turned into kids. But like one of them's like this girl who's gonna go on the journey with them, and she's like, "Oh, I have pointy ears. I'm from the demon realm as well. All pointy-eared people are from the demon realm."
Again, a retcon that they were just like, hey,
Okay.
let's just explain everybody having pointy ears as that means you're from Demon
No,
World somehow.
but that's good. So before this show, those were existing characters. They were not known to be from the demon world, and they're just saying now they were.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. I'm on. Okay. That is actually really helpful. That is super helpful. Okay.
There's actually a lot of weird retcons. Like, well, it's not really a retcon so much as it's a clarification, because Piccolo, as we find out later in Dragon Ball, refers to himself as Demon King Piccolo. But that kind of disappears in Z.
Okay.
He stops referring to himself as a Demon King. But now all of a sudden we know that all of Piccolo's race, the Namex, actually did come from the demon world. So
Yeah, that seemed like assumed knowledge in this show.
no, that is all new.
Interesting. I almost admire this show more for both assuming knowledge, but also retconning shit and acting the same ways. If like, you should just know.
Yeah, this should just be a given at this
It
point.
feels like the more frustrating version of like Jeff Johns' JSA, where you're like, I'm supposed to know this. You're like, no, he's making this up. You're like, oh, okay.
I like that about it, but I also kind of hate it. I don't understand, I guess, why this takes place where it does, especially since we literally just did a second sequel to Super.
Because it's literally the only place it would fit.
This feels like The Force Awakens, where it's like, it's a victory lap for people who already know what Star Wars is. Where you're like, you get it, right? You understand this reference. And I'm like, I don't. And it's like, don't worry about it, though. It doesn't really matter. Because ultimately, it's just going to be Goku on an adventure with new characters. Which I did kind of appreciate. Like I will say, like, I'm glad I banked these and watched like the first 3 or 4, mostly 4 together. I think the 4th one is the one where I really went, oh, okay, I see what's okay. I'm on board. I also had a couple of questions. I know one of those will be answered in the next one. But so when did the Dragon Balls get a password lock?
See, in English, they don't really have a password.
Oh, so
in
like
English,
if we watched
it's literally
Dragon Ball Season 1 in if I had watched all of it in Japanese, would there have been a password that
I don't know if they ever actually refer to it as a password.
Okay.
I think this is again one of those retcons.
So it's been a long time since I watched Z, but
Don't worry, Brian, we'll get there.
it has to have something to do with Shenron. He dies and is replaced. And then,
Wait, am I watching second Shinron in this show?
So the original one only gives you one wish. This one grants
Well,
you 3. And I can't remember
oh,
what.
he addresses it in this show, Brian.
If he knows you, yeah,
if he
or
likes
whatever.
you.
I clocked it as my favorite line of this series, and we'll get there so far.
But at some point, there are changes to the rules of the Dragon
Right.
Balls, and there are changes to how many wishes you get. And I do think, I can't remember when or how or why, but I do think the password thing comes up, and it does cause an issue because one of them can't summon because they don't know the language. I think that
Gotcha.
happened in the Broly movie.
The reason that there's new Dragon Balls is Kame ends up fusing with Piccolo again, which causes the Dragon Balls to disappear. At least I think that's what it was.
So the Dragon Balls
because Kame,
on Earth
yeah,
in this are new?
they're newer
Ish.
because they were made by Dende, the kid that gets kidnapped.
I'm
in this
glad.
episode.
I'm glad this kind of skipped over that and just basically went. There's 2 dimensions and both have their own Dragon Balls and don't worry about it. And I was like, got it. Infinity
Yeah.
Stones, got it. You know,
Yeah.
Infinity Stones. They work in different dimensions. Marvel Comics, got it. You know, like I get that. Like I was able to be like, oh, okay, cool. Another dimension has its own Dragon Balls. Makes sense to my broken brain. Like, like fake Shenron for your narration. But did you say Shenron died? And there's a new Shenron at some point?
Well, in Dragon Ball,
We're-
spoilers, but in Dragon Ball, yes, Shenron does
So
die.
I was seeing like Nick Fury Jr. Shenron in this.
Yes, but
It's probably a reincarnation, honestly.
Oh, okay.
It's been so long.
Well,
I
More of a
barely
Gandalf
remember.
the White then.
yeah, Shenron
Help
kinda
my
dies
Western brain,
more
boys.
yeah,
Equated
Shenron kind of dies.
to
multiple
Proto-Europeans.
times. Yeah, we lose Shenron multiple times throughout Dragon
I mean,
Ball.
he seems fickle. So that makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay, that was my so my first big question was the password lock thing. Okay, so there's a bunch of like opening narration about the Dragon Ball like history, and I see we'll be meeting a creepy doll friend and a man with a third eye before we get to Z.
Oh, you're talking about Tien Shenhan and Chaozu.
I guess.
They are. I think they're the next saga coming up in our
fortune
Dragon Ball
teller,
recap.
fortune teller.
They're after Fortune Teller Baba.
Okay, cool.
The next saga is the Tien Shenhan saga.
The overall note I
where we
did have
meet
is it
them.
was kind of both because I know I saw glimpses of them when we watched the movie, but I hadn't seen Dragon Ball yet, so I didn't really, when I watched that movie with you guys, when we watched the Super movie, I didn't know who to clock as a big character or not. So I'm only now kind of coming back to this adult era, this era of them as adults going, wait, is that Bulma? Bulma has a huge personality shift. Oh, Vegeta, or not Vegeta, but because I haven't seen him yet, like as a kid, but like some of these Krillin, I guess I'm like, oh, okay, I now know who these are as kids. I'm seeing them as adults, and I'm kind of trying to clock the changes. The big one was, I'm blanking on his name, Casey Jones. I call him Casey Jones because I don't remember his name.
Oh, Yamcha.
Where I'm like, is he in a business suit and has short hair? What happened to Casey Jones?
He grew
He
up.
sold out.
Kind of.
Sold out to the man.
Actually, yes.
Oh, exciting. Okay, so the villain of this show, just to clarify, is Goma? Is that how they say it?
Yeah, I believe it's
Okay.
Goma.
He's a real again to ground it to something I understand. He's a real Mixel-Spitalik figure.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
No, it seems that way so far.
And he's new to this show.
Yeah, he's brand new.
Yeah.
But his race is not like his culture is not. We've seen other people like him.
No, that Goma.
So he's not related to the creepy doll.
No, not
No.
that we know of.
Oh. Okay. Cool. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the problem with Daima right now is going to be there is literally hundreds of episodes of lore between this and where you are.
I gotcha.
The good news is that most of it so far really doesn't play
Yeah.
into it. It's almost all new. It's just Goku and some new
To be
friends.
fair, most of my questions are in the first 2 episodes, and then once Goku leaves them,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I do also just like this isn't a question. This is the one like note I had, which is I guess I'm just gonna call him Mixel-Spitalik or Mixie. So I guess Mixie hasn't watched as much Dragon Ball as I have because in his Cerebro, where he's just watching episodes of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, I could have told him as a new Dragon Ball fan that making them young won't change anything. He'll still win because that's like his whole deal. He's super overpowered, but unfortunately, he does not get that message. Okay, and so I know he's not the same as Piccolo, but I'm just gonna call him. And I know you just said Namek. I'm just calling him Old Man Piccolo, the Namek.
Yeah,
So is that guy new?
brand new.
Okay, so he's not. Okay, yeah. See, that's a really good example of like. And again, I think this is actually like something I like about the show is that the way they visit him and the way Goku visits Korin later is treated with the same level of mythology where I'm like, oh, am I supposed to know what this is? Because I know Korin. So when Goku goes and visits Korra next episode, I'm like, of course, Korin, my favorite character, Korin, the cat man, the cat god. Okay, so Old Man Piccolo's new. Just a note, going back to our original first episode of this, when we watched the movie, Goku and Vegeta destroy all known cloud systems during training, and then we cut to a weird black elf watching in the sky, which I believe you guys teased me about in one episode previous, going, this guy's coming. And
Talking about Mr. Popo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they
Okay,
make him more obviously a demon in this episode, which I kind of liked. I was like, oh, Mr. Popo has horns. Mr. Popo didn't have horns before.
Yeah, until those lips are gone, I'm not going to be okay.
Yeah, the only change you ever get on his character is in some versions they made him blue, and that just doesn't.
Yeah, it didn't stick.
It's better.
Better-ish.
Better. Okay, so at the end of this episode, when Mixie makes a wish to Shenron, I absolutely fell in love with Shenron again. I forgot about him mostly from the first season. This was amazing. When basically Mixie is like, everyone who helped defeat Majin Buu, every main character who defeated Majin Buu should be turned into a kid. And Shenron is like, that's a pretty vague wish, bro. Do you have a specific age? What is a child? Also, some of them are also children now. What do you want?
Yeah.
And the guy like details it out, makes it up for the show, and then and Brian, you mentioned like, oh, the rules changed. This is where Shenron kind of puts a lampshade over it, because he goes, I thought I got free wishes. The Shenron was like, that's for repeat customers. That is the actual line. He goes, repeat customers only. You're the first. It's the first time you found me. Come back later. Maybe I'll give you more wishes. And I was like, Shenron, you're all right. You're an all right guy. You're tough but fair.
I don't know that he's ever done that specifically before.
No,
but
that was brand new, but that was great.
It really helped. So is the Three Wishes thing new to you guys as well in this show? Or is it something that's exists?
No.
So they changed it at some point, and this is them retconning it back
When
Yeah.
to explain why it changed.
Yeah, when Dende makes Earth's new Dragon Balls, he changes it to 3 wishes.
Because you'll find out eventually, but the Namekian Dragon Balls had 3 wishes. So when they found out about that, they were like, oh shit. And then, they get Dende from the planet Namek, who comes to Earth and makes the Earth Dragon Balls have 3 wishes also.
So Shenron's real.
At the time, I think they really needed those 3 wishes. I think one wouldn't have cut
Yeah,
it.
they needed the 3 wishes for plot reasons.
So Shenron's being a bit of a Kevin Feige right now, trying to bridge some multiverse gaps here.
Kind of.
Okay. Shenron should have a baseball cap. That would help. Okay, episode 2. I will read the description despite not knowing any of it I'm about to say. The Z warriors and their allies are turned into children by Goma's wish, while those who are already children are turned into infants. Goma takes an infant Dende as a hostage and returns with his group to the demon realm. Sensing a disturbance on Kame's lookout, Shin and Kibito? Yeah. Teleport there with Goku and Piccolo and find Mr. Popo, who explains what happened. Since mortals usually cannot enter the demon realm, Shin locates his long-lost ship that brought him to Earth prior to Majin Buu's awakening, though its abandonment has made it unstable, promising to complete the... Okay, I'm going to finish this, but FYI, for the Daima recaps, I probably should not read these. I don't know who these people are, so I can speak with no confidence. Sorry. I'm like, who are these people? Okay, wait. Shin locates his long-lost ship that brought him to Earth prior to Majin Buu's awakening, though its abandonment has made it unusable. Promising to complete the ship within 10 days, Vegeta and Bulma, a person I know, are brought to the lookout to begin repairs. A few days later, another ship arrives from the demon realm, though its occupant, a demon named Glorio, new favorite character, Uh,
Han Solio.
Han Solio, Tumblr Han Solio, Glorio, desires to stop Goma at his leader's behalf and asks Goku to help him, having recently retrieved his power pole. We'll get to that. To fight, since he is not used to the smaller body, Goku accepts and is joined by Shin, while Vegeta and the rest of the Z Warriors are left to wait until Bulma's repairs are complete. Couple questions. Okay, Shin is the name of the kind of like now we know demon realm character who goes with Goku. Who is Shin?
Shin is the Supreme Kai. So
Who are the Kai?
Kais are like a god race, or at least at the time this was created, they were quote unquote gods, or the most powerful, or not the most powerful, but the highest echelon of being in the Dragon Ball universe.
So was Shin like a villain and then like turned to Goku's side?
No, he was always a good guy. Honestly, it's been so long since I watched the Buu saga, I don't really remember his origin story or how they introduced him that well. But ultimately, he was a good guy, helped with the Buu saga.
Okay, so Shin is just like, it feels like Shin's kind of taking the Krillin role on, because obviously like the whole point of this is like they're trying to recreate the Dragon Ball energy, like the energy of like the first show.
Right.
And do a kind of throwback. So like that's who that's taken on. Okay, so Glorio, from all I can see is new to this show.
Yeah, Glorio is brand new.
Yeah, Tumblr boyfriend Han Solo, Star-Lord, Demon is teenage. Okay. He's great. A couple of questions about this. Who is Master Satan?
Oh, Mr. Satan.
Sorry, forgive me.
So
Stolen
the-
Valor,
the American-
Mr. Satan.
the
Please, Master Satan
American
was my father.
versions-
Call me Mr. Satan.
In America, they've always called him Hercule,
Okay.
and you would have seen him in the Broly movie for like 10 seconds, but he shows up in the Cell Saga during Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
And he essentially sells himself as being a superhero, as being like the defender of Earth. And most of the time, he just gets by on claiming other people's victories.
He's a real
He's
penguin.
a comedic relief. Kinda, yeah.
He's
Uh,
he basically is Earth's mightiest warrior, with air quotes
Okay.
around it. He was only because he is a good fighter, but he was a
Okay.
good fighter compared to like the World Martial Arts Tournament. But he was the best comparative to normal human beings.
Got it. Okay. Okay. This also has this is the first time I detected like the retcon, not having seen the rest. I actually wrote it in my notes. I quoted it. Is everything with pointy ears from the demon realm? And then the response is, not really, but you could assume most are. And I was like, I see what you're doing here. you're doing a little bit of retcon. Got it. Okay. Other note, Master Roshi turns into a hot
strapping young
a
lad.
hot child, and women are into him flirting, and I'm like, isn't he like 9?
Is he? Like, I kind of assume he's just shorter.
They literally
and-
said like the wish was for everybody to be like middle school age.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I was just wondering since he was. Yeah.
you're right.
Wait, but that doesn't.
You're right,
that-
everybody.
but that doesn't
He's
work.
12. It's way better the adults fuck him.
But that doesn't work because Trunks and Goten.
No, they make
are
a point that if they're
babies.
already kids, they become infants.
Yeah, he specified that.
I can't remember what the exact
That
specification was. but I assume
Shenron
because
asked for
Roshi was so
details,
old.
and that is what is detailed
Yeah.
out.
Yep.
Is he goes, I don't know, middle school
So-
age, like 9 to
Gotcha.
12, and
Yeah.
then anyone who's already a kid becomes an infant. That's literally what Shenron forces the guy to.
So Roshi is worse now.
What's weird about the Roshi stuff is he is obviously tamed down for modern audiences, but what I think is extra creepy is that adult women are into it. Like, he's successfully flirting with adults, and I'm like, he's a child though. Like, what?
Yep.
What? Why can we not be rid of this man?
They keep bringing him back with the Dragon Balls.
Fantastic. All right, Brian, you want to take episode 3?
Glorio, Shen, and Goku fly to a nearby planet called Batapi. There, they encounter a Warp Lord, a massive fish-like entity that acts as the portal between the demon realm and the known universes. Glorio enters the password to travel, though Shen is not able to relay it telepathically to Kibito before being teleported. The group appears at the access gate to the demon realm, which is split into 3 worlds, and enter into World 3. Glorio explains that travel between worlds is only done through the Warp Lords, and while he lives in World 3, he works in World 1, where Goma's kingdom is located. After landing the ship on the surface, Goku and Shen find it similar to that of Earth, though the air is heavy with fumes spouted from the local volcanoes. The trio also find that the area is very hostile, and both tribal inhabitants and the local townsfolk provoke attacks without warning. After dispatching a group of thugs at a restaurant in a nearby town, the group rests at an inn. The next morning, however, Glorio's ship has been stolen by the thugs. It was kind of just setting up like how they travel and the planet itself. But the part that really stood out to me was like coming back to some of the Dragon Ball humor, specifically the gas on the planet and Goku talking about it being like no one would know if I farted.
Yeah,
that really caught me off guard because I haven't heard Goku, because he's still an adult. He still has his adult mind.
well,
so it's very
I
strange.
do have a note for in summation, which is, I mean, the gulf between child and adult Goku in temperament is not that different.
It's really not.
Yeah.
Like, experience,
It just-
yes. Like, hey, he didn't slap anybody's genitals, so growth. But like,
Then he farted in a ship and said, "Oops, my bad."
but like he is still like kind of a savant. This episode, I think Brian also that's a good point. Like, you kind of called it of like, it does feel like kind of 2 parts, which is a lot of it's about the bureaucracy of getting into the demon world. Like,
Yeah.
this Harlequin fish has also a passcode, I guess. Like, once we get there, it does start to feel like, and this is where I kind of did start to click in, we are doing this to recreate the feeling of Dragon Ball for the anniversary. Like, this is where I was like, oh, it's Force Awakens. We want to recreate the feelings of watching Dragon Ball.
To clarify, we talked about this a little bit, but they're doing, is it the first 3 episodes that they're doing in theaters, or the first
Just
4?
the first 3. So this is the last one.
Just based on these first 3, I do want to see it in English. I'm just curious, but I don't know that I would enjoy this.
It's not enough.
Like, as a movie, as a film experience, or going to a theater. Like,
I
get
would
it.
not be happy.
Yeah, and I'm glad that it was on Crunchyroll and that I didn't go see it in theaters, because I don't think I would enjoy this.
So this is 20 episodes. I think we're doing the right thing here by going, hey, we're going to cover 5, and then we'll just keep covering every 5.
Yeah.
We'll do it in
Right.
4 parts. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Might be overkill.
Yeah, it stood out to me because I was thinking, like, if they're doing it this way in
I
movie
think it's
theaters, they
it's
must
pure
have.
runtime. I don't think it has anything to do with
Yeah.
where you end up with episode 3.
Yeah, because I think if I were doing it, I would have set it up to like begin their journey at the end of the 3rd episode to set you up for the series, I guess. But anyway, that was just my thought on it.
Yeah, like it's interesting because like this episode was it this episode or the previous one where they kind of explain how you get the demon Dragon Balls, which is there's like 3 cat robot statues that you have to go through.
Was it not?
They explain it in this
Okay.
episode because I think it's an explanation that happens as they're coming into the demon world or something along those lines.
I thought they explained it in the first episode when he was talking about the differences.
Well, they kept showing them, but I feel like I did at some point. They
Yeah.
also explain like, "Hey, to win Goku, this is what you have to do."
Yeah,
They kept showing the weird cat Gundams, and I'm like, okay, what? But like, what do we do with those?
I did like. I'm pretty sure this episode has it. It might be the next one, but I like that they came up with a reason that they can't just fly across and be done
I
with
think
it.
that's this one.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
mean,
they
it's,
did.
it's the fumes and like the weight of
Oh
the
yeah,
atmosphere.
it's again getting you
And-
back to that place. It's trying to explain why we're back at Dragon Ball level. So it's like, oh no, the gravity's different. Goku, I guess I'll have to be back to where you are with your staff. I mean, we might as well just have your tail.
The only thing they can't really explain away, and I don't know that it'll come up, but his instant transmission. But also,
Is what?
Steve, I can't remember. He later in Z, he learns how to teleport wherever he wants to by touching his forehead, basically. But he has to have been there before, right?
He has to have some
Nightcrawler?
knowledge of where he's going.
Sort of.
I
Yeah.
don't think he has to actually have been there before, but he has
He has
to
to be
have
able to
something.
visualize it.
He has to have something to lock onto. So like
Oh, it doesn't-
he needs somebody's energy signature to read at a distance, or he needs something like Nightcrawler. He needs something there in order to anchor him so that he knows where he's going. Like he can't just teleport himself to the other side of the planet because he doesn't technically know how far away.
Right.
that
It's
is.
the elegance of the X2 movie solution to Nightcrawler. I have to see where I'm going, otherwise I'll end up in a wall. Like, I could try,
Yeah.
but it's a risk. Interesting. Okay. I don't. I didn't even know he had that power, so I didn't have that question.
Yeah, he uses it all the time later. I thought it was interesting because I'm like, yeah, he is the same. He still is technically as strong, but he is also kind
But
of
he
stripped
has to
of his
relearn a lot
abilities.
of stuff, and like obviously like he goes
Yeah.
into that inn, and he's still kind of Child Goku, which is like he's touching the flower, like he's like tapping out a flower, and then a bunch of like a dragon man, a wolf man, a whole bunch of shit, just like is like, I don't like your kind here, and Goku's like, well, I'll fight you.
He just wants to eat his cheeseburgers.
Yeah. Okay.
It kind of, for some reason, just the way they picked a fight kind of reminded me of Star Wars. The very beginning.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that whole scene, that whole scene reminded me a lot of him, like them walking into a cantina.
It was that. It was
Yeah.
It needed-
episode season 2 of Dragon Ball during the tournament in the bar with the Dragon Man. Like I was like, oh,
Yeah.
and this is when it did click with me. I was like, oh, we're recreating the feeling of the Dragon Ball show.
Even the whole bar fight really felt like a Dragon Ball-esque
Yeah.
fight, with Goku sitting there eating cheeseburgers while beating the shit out of
Oh, yeah.
everything.
Like that's definitely where like especially this episode and the next episode goes. Like particularly. All right, Steve, do you want to take episode 4?
Without a ship, Glorio, Shin, and Goku continue their journey on foot as the heavy atmosphere makes flying too strenuous. Their destination is a palace of the third Demon World King, who sent Glorio to Earth for Goku. Fighting off monsters along the way, the group stops at a medicinal tea shop to rest. While there, the group obtain medicines similar to senzu beans, an herb that causes users to undergo fusion, and a rocket-like seed for traveling long distance. After riding on the seed, the group lands only a half day from the palace. However, upon realizing that each world in the demon realm has a Dragon Ball that can be earned after defeating their guardian, Tamagami Warrior, Goku convinces Glorio to change course to the direction of the nearest Dragon Ball protector after reaching the third Demon World's castle, which is back near where they started. Needing the break, the group finds a nearby town where Goma's minions harshly tax citizens. Goku steps in to defeat the minions after a young demon girl initially disrupts the oppression, who inquires about Goku's intentions.
So this is old school classic Dragon Ball. Like, we got to sneak through this town. Don't worry about it, Goku. And Goku's like, that's not okay. I'll beat everybody with my stick.
Oppression? Not on my watch.
Even when they told him, like, about the cat robots, they were like, the only way to get the Dragon Ball, like, he has like this can-do attitude because they were like, no one's ever done it. He's like, that just makes me want it more. And I'm like, oh, Goku, you don't ever change. And it doesn't sound like you will.
I think what I've truly enjoyed about this is harkening back to the old school Dragon Ball is the fact that all of Goku's problems are literally solved in one punch. Any enemy he comes across, one hit, and it's just over. He's just done.
If I'm being generous to the franchise, not just this series, but I do think like from like a larger view of like what I like about the Goku character is and we'll see how this goes in Z since I know the fights go on for a long time. What I like about Dragon Ball and this is that the story is about Goku's choice to act. The story is about there is oppression, there is unfairness, there is a world in which the corrupt prey on the weak, like, and Goku's choice, like the whole premise is Goku is learning his way through the world, and he learns about the world, and he goes, "That's wrong, and I will stop it." And then the fight is therefore an afterthought because he is so powerful, and it is a albeit childish, because to be fair though, it is for children. Dragon Ball, like I supposedly, like it is this exploration of the use of power, and a truly guileless use of power. Goku is not a political figure. He is not he does not have a overarching philosophy. He is a character who is like, if people are hurting, I will help them. And that is it. And while that is a simplistic view of the world, I think, to be fair, Goku is a child. Therefore, like, that it does not strike to me. It does not read to me of like a fascist fantasy, power fantasy allegory. Like, Goku has this purity to him, which, you know, he's Superman. Like, ultimately, it's the Superman argument. I mean,
Yeah.
In America, we have gone out of our way to be like, what if we fuck up Superman? And that does not seem to have happened to Goku in Japan. And thank God, Japan, keep doing what you're doing, because I got to tell you, we did fuck up Superman, and it doesn't work out. We don't love it. It's not great. It's been bad.
So you wouldn't watch the Brightburn version of Dragon Ball?
The Brightburn version of
suddenly
Dragon Ball,
Kid Goku is evil.
But the Brightburn version of Dragon Ball is just Brightburn. Who fucking cares? Like, it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what if he was evil? It's like, it would suck. That's the story.
It would not be
There's no
interesting
story.
at all.
Like, there's no story. Like, to the credit of like Robert Kirkman and Invincible, the premise of what if Superman was evil is interesting in Invincible because he has a son who is as powerful as him to not be evil.
Yeah.
It's only interesting because he has a son who is now effectively Superman. But I do like that, and this felt like a very pure version of Goku. This is the thing that's keeping me going, guys. This is the thing that's really latching on to me. In our dark times, Goku is what I'm holding on to right now. Person who wants to help people. Like, before 2013, Superman was a good person, and in America, everybody fucking said he was boring for 20 years, and then I hope you're all fucking happy.
Because now he's edgy.
Because now
forever.
he fucking sucks. Whereas nobody, that didn't happen. Maybe people in Japan think Goku is boring, but they didn't listen, and they've kept him this way, and I love it. Like, this is he is a true superhero. I am not interested in deconstructing Goku. I don't want the Dark Knight Returns for Goku. Like, I like this. So I think like one of the reasons Daima is working for me is they're like, let's even simplify it further. Let's go back to where, like, I love the idea that Dragon Ball Z, which I don't know a lot about, but I don't think they push Goku to his moral limit. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, the only time you'll ever really get anything with a evil or weird, dark, anything Goku related in Super, in an alternate universe, they do find a being called Goku Black, and
Right.
he's basically just an evil Goku.
But like current Goku
So-
still exists in that, right?
Yes, and he never, yeah. I'd say the only dilemma he ever has, like, and it's not a dilemma for him. Like, it's just like saving his friends over whatever, or family over something, but it never gets to the point of like testing his morality or anything.
I love Goku. You guys did it. You've succeeded. I love this guy.
It only took, what, 15 years of talking about Dragon Ball randomly?
To be fair, no one sold me on the morality of it.
We never sold you the childlike innocence.
I mean, for real, but who would? Who would think to?
Yeah, I don't think that's the first thing people think of.
Yeah. But to me, it's the hook. To me, it's why it's resonated.
I can't... Real quick side note, because I know we do the Goku outfit watch. Has there been any fun outfits, or has he just been in the orange gi the whole time?
He's just been in the orange jumpsuit, which is kind of cool, I guess. I kind of wish he would go back to some of the old outfits he had when he was a kid. Like, I get why they just when they aged them down, they were just like, they just all get kid versions of whatever they were fucking wearing.
I agree, Steve. I get it. Like, okay, it's a callback. It's the Force Awakens. The Millennium Falcon's gonna be there. His outfit's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, but I would appreciate, like, I would love him to be in one of these fun new Demon World outfits in incognito. How fun would that be? You know what I mean? Like, there's stuff to be there, and I don't think we're gonna do it.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I didn't remember.
No, he's just been Goku.
I know you normally clock it, so I was like, all right, I'll
action
ask.
figure Goku the whole way through. He's just been classic Goku.
Yeah.
Brian, would you do 5?
The demon girl, who identifies herself as Pansy, follows the group as they continue their journey, still wondering about who they are and their intentions. A self-described inventor, she demonstrates her knowledge of the third world by assisting in their directions, as well as showing off her abilities using magic, something she says that many Majin demons possess. Meanwhile, Goma plans to raise Dende so he can make new Dragon Balls for him. The group arrives at the palace, Kadan Castle, where
I
Pansy...
couldn't hear it in the train because we were watching subtitled. So I think you're right, but I couldn't really clock it.
Yeah, but at Kadan Castle, where Pansy is revealed to be its princess. Goku and Shen are introduced to the king, Pansy's father, Kadan, and relay the situation regarding their youthful appearance. Dende's kidnapping and the desired defeat of Goma using the Dragon Realm's 3 Dragon Balls. These are very long sentences with a lot of commas.
Man, Wikipedia sucks.
To demonstrate his strength, Goku defeats the warrior of the palace, earning Kadan's trust. As they prepare to depart, Kadan tasks one of his attendants to retrieve the remaining Z warriors from Earth. Boarding a ship, Pansy convinces her father to let her go, while Shen warns Goku that Glorio may be hiding his true intentions. As soon as they take off, however, the ship engine sputters and they crash into the ground.
Also, just kidding.
I was
Wikipedia
a little...
is amazing. Just kidding, by the way. Support Wikipedia.
I love Wikipedia. I read it basically every single day.
Same.
But sometimes, for things like this, it's a little frustrating.
Sometimes, yeah, it needs...
Look,
needs more
community
editing.
editors, you get what you pay for, which is 0.
Yeah.
I was a little frustrated by the ending of this episode, just because I want the adventure to
It did
continue
feel like
moving.
a false start, didn't it?
Yeah, I was like, okay, so it sounds like you guys are really enjoying this. I'm not. But
You're
also,
the Kate
you guys
to
really
our
enjoy Dragon
You're
Ball.
the Kate to our Jack. We're like, we got to go back, and you're like, we can't go back.
I just think Dragon Ball. So we haven't covered Z. We haven't covered Super. I think Super is probably the best sequel you're gonna get to Dragon Ball Z. And I don't want another sequel to Z.
I don't think this is a sequel to Z.
I want.
It's not really.
It's in between, because this is canon. It is somehow going to take place between Z and Super. It will.
Let me clarify.
But
I don't think this is going to continue the story.
Oh no! I think this is self-contained in the demon world, and then we'll we'll go back and somehow their memories will be erased and Super will still happen.
I don't think it'll be
Something.
a memory erase thing. I think it'll be just one of those, we had a fun adventure. Now let's never speak of it again because we don't need to.
I don't know. I wish they would have done. I get why they're doing what they're doing. I get that it's a callback. I understand all of that. I just don't want to go back. I'm not that interested. Like, it's already there.
Yeah, but he's slapping
I
no one's genitals this time.
I know. I think for me, what I would have liked to have seen, and I know that it probably wouldn't resonate as heavily and blah, 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 but they have kind of neglected Gohan, Goku's son, for forever. And I think this would have been a great point to make him the main character. And it's something that they've toyed with. And like the original idea, from my understanding, for Dragon Ball as a whole was eventually Gohan would replace Goku. It would be like a coming of age, and then Goku would kind of take a step back and Gohan would move forward. And I think this could have been a great point to do that with. But at the same time, I understand why they didn't.
Do you, and granted, I've only seen Gohan briefly in this and the movie we watched, but do you think Gohan is he fundamentally different enough from Goku to sustain a new story, or is it just more of the same and fundamentally on a story level it doesn't really matter if it's Gohan or Goku?
Gohan is pretty different from Goku
Because he looks very similar.
Oh yeah,
Personality-wise, he is different, but at the same time, the stories you're going to tell with him are not going to be vastly different.
I would argue that a little, only because the last forever of Dragon Ball, because of Chi-Chi, which is Gohan's mom,
Yes.
she wants him to focus on academics. So most of his character is like going to school.
Wait,
and
didn't
being
she
a
grow up on a
street-level
mountain
superhero.
with like
And-
surrounded by
yeah.
fire? What education did she have?
She doesn't want him to be out fighting and getting hurt. She wants him to be
I will say,
scholarly.
quick diversion. I had a lot of questions about Chi-Chi based on this episode, basically because Pansy has a real like Chi-Chi energy in this episode with like her dad there.
And I was wondering, there's a little flirting going on there or something.
Well, but not on Goku's part. I literally wrote,
This episode had basically my favorite joke of the series so far, where the king was just like, "Yeah, you can marry my daughter one day." And Goku's like, "Oh, I'm already married and have 2 kids."
that was good.
And they're like, "What the fuck?"
I also like the joke where they're like, "Do you know magic?" And he goes, "Yeah," and he touches his tongue to his nose. It's like, okay, so he's still an idiot. Like I don't think Goku will stray from Chi-Chi in this show, but I think that's because he seems so blissfully unaware to a point where I'm not sure how he ended up marrying somebody and having kids in the first place.
Oh no, Gohan's father figure is Piccolo.
But
Goku, he's not around. He doesn't care about
do
women.
we watch Goku and Chi-Chi court? Like, do they actually have adult feelings towards each other? Do we ever see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's moments of it.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm talking about in Dragon Ball, like their first initial, like, we're gonna get married. All of that happens for the viewer.
No, but like Goku seemed blissfully unaware of it the whole time.
No, I'm talking about, yeah, he was blissfully unaware of the marriage thing, but eventually he becomes aware of it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to pin on. Basically, does Goku know he's fucking people? Like, does Goku have any adult awareness? He seems like he doesn't.
A little. He'll come home and like take care of her for like 10 seconds, but then he's like, I gotta go train for 7 years. Are you good? All right, bye.
Okay, he's a bad dad.
And see, and that's like, Brian, you were saying that you don't like Daima, you like Super more. Because I'm the exact opposite. I feel like Super was a massive regression for the story as a whole. And
But I also to clarify, I haven't watched all the Super anime. I don't like the Super anime very much. When I talk about Super, I'm mostly referring to the manga. And they are kind of notably different, especially I'd say after the first two sagas, because the budget didn't allow them to do a lot of what the manga did.
Fucking F. Scott Fitzgerald over here. The book is back. No.
But also, it's just so much easier for me personally. It's so much easier.
The joke doesn't even make sense.
It's so much easier for me to read manga and knock out an entire I can read 10 manga books in an afternoon, whereas watching 10 seasons of an anime takes a fucking lifetime.
I don't know if efficiency is the best judge of art, but I kind of see your point.
There's a lot of.
I think the experience, how you feel, art.
I'm not saying that specifically, but there's a lot of meandering in anime because they're waiting for the manga, and there's a lot of.
Brian, I want to talk down to you, but I'm gonna have to for a second. Art's supposed to make you feel.
Yeah.
It's not about getting
sure
quickly. If
I'm 100% sure that's the goal.
If your goal is to just I need to consume as much as I can as quickly as I can,
but
maybe this isn't the thing for
right.
you.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't.
No, I
don't
being
want
facetious
to.
Of it. I mean comedic because we're on a podcast.
I don't want to watch 300 episodes of what I can read in a few chapters.
Me either. I'd only do it for a podcast.
And it doesn't. It especially.
Hence the curse I've incurred.
Hey, you chose this.
Yeah, this was your idea.
You made us do this.
I did this. Like America, I got it good and hard.
I don't know. I really do wish there was some way for them to do something other than Goku, but I understand that they have to do Goku.
They're locked into Goku. Like I do think that's fair because it's been 40 years, and the question is, does the franchise live without him? And the answer seems to be no.
That the Dragon Ball superhero movie did really well, and but obviously just a movie.
Yeah, but the answer, but here's the future stories of, I would equate it to America. Future Batman and Superman stories can do well.
They need
ultimately, it's always going to be Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And their kids will never take over. And I think that's where we are with Goku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
not saying it's good.
It's a damn
it's just
shame.
the reality.
But, I mean,
some stories fit that. Some stories fit multiple protagonists. Some stories don't. I actually do think it's a lot about expectation. If you set it up early that there's multiple protagonists, you can get away with it. But if you wait for 25 years to choose the protagonist, it might be a little late.
Dragon Ball Z, from the beginning up until the Cell games, while it is still Goku's story, it is also revolving around Gohan's growth. Up until the Cell games, which Goku, spoiler alert, Goku does die, and Gohan does technically take over and blah 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 for a while, but then they obviously Dragon Balls bring him back, all that.
yeah, no, the line in the sand was Goku showing up at the beginning of the Buu saga. When Goku shows back up, that's when they've made the decision he is the main character.
I do think the actual Wheel of Time, not the books, the actual like.
All right, this is now a Wheel of Time podcast.
Real time. Yeah. It's a Wheel of Time podcast. We're all in.
You guys ready for 300 books or whatever it is?
I think it's like 18.
I'm not doing
I
that.
don't remember. It doesn't matter.
No.
I do think a lot of it is like the actual real world passing of time as an audience gets used to something.
Right.
Like, for better or worse, Goku is this franchise, which, I like him. So and I think it's also like different for you guys because you were not there as it was airing, but there as it was being presented in America, which is still a shrunken down timeline, but still a kind of serialized timeline. Whereas I'm just kind of binging it in certain ways. So I'm just like, yeah, Goku. Yeah, of course. Like, I just accept it already.
See, the difference for me now is that I'm fine with Goku as he's written right now, as we're experiencing him in Daima, as he was in Dragon Ball, as he was in Dragon Ball Z. My problem with Goku doesn't happen until Super, when they regress him to the point where me stupid man, me just want fight, and that's literally his entire character. That's all he wants. That's all he is. He is a one-dimensional character. All he wants to do is fight all the time. There is nothing else to his personality or who he is. Yeah.
Can't wait. I did have one question just to bring us to an end. Unless, Brian, you would like to respond.
Oh no, we can wait until the Super podcast.
Oh yeah, we have tons of time to talk about
we
what
have
Goku
many
doesn't
years.
do. How does the hair going Saiyan thing work? I know we haven't gotten to that yet, and I know there'll be a lot of details, but in my mind it was a bigger deal. But he seems to just be able to do it the way Nightcrawler teleports, instead of bam, bam, bam. He seems to just be able to do it.
Yeah.
As a single move. Is that new, or is that
it's one
just
of
where
those
he's
when it
gotten
first
to?
happens, it's a huge deal, so we need to really focus on it. Then eventually it just becomes a reflex, second nature. I can do this whenever I want, kind of thing.
Where Goku is at now in this show, and where basically all the Saiyans are at, is that they have multiple power levels and they can change it whenever they want to, but most of the time they don't do it unless they need to preserve power, because I guess the higher form of Super Saiyan they go, it takes more power, so they generally fight at a lower form. It gets more involved and more complicated later, but I'm assuming in this show you'll only see the one.
It's just about saving strength. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't go ahead and just let's see Kid Goku in Super Saiyan 3, just because
it would be amazing.
Remember GT? Yeah, I remember GT.
All right, last note. At one point, Goku turns to Han Solo boyfriend and asks him if he's good with machines, and I was like, oh, like Donatello.
That is literally the same thing I said.
And I was like, ha. And I think that's where we ended. I don't know.
That's basically where the episode ended. I was just like, are you good with machines? It's like, ha, purple turtle.
I was like, I see you. I see you because you're purple and you're Donatello. This is unintentional, I'm sure, but I see this. Glorio does do machines. And other stuff. Check Tumblr.
You've been listening to Cattywampus. You can follow us on Instagram at CattyWampusPod. Email us at cattywampuspodcast@gmail.com. Music by Tilly.